listening to what the All India Democratic Women's Association has to say. So, as Lakshmi has already told you, we are having our national conference in Hyderabad, the 14th national conference, and more than 850 elected delegates from 26 states will be attending. ADWA is an organization which has a membership of more than 1 crore 10 lakh in 26 states. We have our units, more than 50,000 units across the country. So last 1 year, we have been having programs of our conferences right from the village and the mohalla level to local area, taluka, district, state, and now the national. So that is why this 850 leadership will be attending the conference. In all these conferences, we have seen that the impact of the policies of the central government and in many of the states also has affected women's life extremely adversely. The government has been trying to pose a picture as if the country is moving ahead and as if we are having a very high growth rate. But the reality is that we are finding poverty, malnutrition and unemployment, livelihood crisis and indebtedness of women increasing in a massive way. To give you a few examples, the government says that poverty has decreased in our country. But if you see how it calculates, to give you a small figure, in 2017, the government Rangarajan committee calculated that in urban India, 47 rupees per day, that is 1,407 rupees per month. That was the limit of purchasing power in urban areas, and in rural areas it was 33 rupees per day and 972 rupees per month, whose income that family is categorized as poor. Above that is not poor. We don't agree with this. Then in 2021, it changed. It made it little higher, but it made it 62 rupees per day and 1,860 rupees per month. This family whose purchasing power was below this was poor. Above it was not poor. Now, we have seen all the National Sample Survey Organization data, which says that the purchasing power of agricultural households has become less than 1,800 rupees per month. This is the kind of poverty that is taking place in the country. More than 12 crores 5 lakh people have been thrown out of all welfare measures by this government. Now these are all official statistics what I am telling you. It is available everywhere, and about 80% of Indian people, their nutritional intake is below 2,200 calories per day, which is the required nutritional intake for being a healthy person. Now, all this shows that poverty has been increasing, and the primary factor for that is massive increase in price rise. All essential commodities are extremely expensive, and on the other hand, no livelihood, no work, no income. So both these things, if you see, then households are cutting back on intake of food, on withdrawing children from education, withdrawing from health services. When this happens, the burden on the woman increases to provide that care within the household. And every kind of survey shows that, even the recent survey of the time use survey, which has been just last year, it was released, shows that the hours that Indian women are putting into domestic care work has tremendously increased in the country. And why is it so? She's searching for cheap fuel, she's searching for cheap food, she's taking care of the house much more, she's taking care of sick people in the house because she can't afford hospital facilities. So all this is impacting women very adversely. Secondly, because of non-availability of the this is also shown in the gender parity index. You please go to the net and you will find all this, that the gap, the inequality gap is so huge in our country today that almost 40% of the total assets in our 22% of the income, and 40% of the assets is controlled by 1% of the ultra rich in our country. That is the massive centralization. And what we find that women own only 20% of the wealth in India, but what it is owned by only 500 women, 500 of the super rich corporate family. So you can imagine the kind of concentration of wealth, and that concentration of wealth is being helped by the policies of the government. How is land being taken away from the people? It's through the policy. The land laws have been changed. Tribal laws, tribal land, protected land, according to the PESA Act, according to the Forest Conservation Act, according to the Forest Rights Act. But all these three acts have been changed so that Mr. Ambani can take away forest land. And thousands of acres and hectares of forest land has been taken over by him in so many places in the country, and nobody has said a word of destruction of environment and all this. And we are seeing the impact of the destruction of environment. We saw it in Uttarakhand, we saw it in Punjab, we saw it in Himachal Pradesh. What devastation is taking place. But so this is the kind of lopsided development that is happening. And as AIDWA, when we go at the ground level, we are fighting for this food. The National Food Security Act has literally been closed by the government because in the last year's budget, now the new budget will come again on the 1st of February, but the last year's budget, the National Food Security Act had zero allocation. Zero. Never it has been like that. It says that it is giving free 5 kilo grains to 80 crore families, but that's not true. Because if you actually go to the ground level, the people who should be getting food are not getting it because of Aadhaar card linkage, because of that biometric thumb impression machines, and secondly, actual allocation is also not there. 5 kilos now nobody is getting, 3 kilos, somewhere 2 kilos, somewhere 3-4 kilos, and very bad quality of grain. The shops are not open. All these things are happening, and that is why you are finding in all the National Family Health Surveys that malnutrition, anemia has increased in India a lot. Now this is the reality of the situation which the Modi government cannot hide, despite the fact saying that India is going ahead. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. It's a slogan. But where is the Vikas? Women are not finding it anywhere in their lives. So that is one. Then the whole Employment Guarantee Act. The Employment Guarantee Act has been demolished. The new Gramji Act which has come. This act is actually changed the character of the Employment Guarantee, Mahatma Gandhi Employment Guarantee Act. The earlier act, the responsibility for allocation was with the central government. Now it has been pushed to the state government. Second, it was demand based. If women wanted work in the villages, if women demanded work, then it was the responsibility of the government to actually produce work, to start the work. Now it is not so. Now it is supply based. Means if you demand work and if the government says it does not have work, then no work will start. So in effect, people are not going to get work in the rural areas. 90% of the laborers in Manrega were women. So it's going to directly impact women in the rural areas, and it is going to further increase migration. It is further going to increase poverty and further violence also. Because in a migrated situation, the women are extremely insecure because no proper staying facilities are there, no proper employment facilities are there, and there are the National Crime Records Bureau has already released that the crime rate against women in India has increased. In fact, between 2022 and 2024, the number of POCSO cases, that is sexual harassment against young minor girls, sexual harassment against minor has increased by 90%. This is the statistics. It is an alarming statistics. That means no child is safe in the country. And unfortunately, conviction rates are very poor. It's 27%. And everywhere that we find that this government is supporting the accused, everywhere, be it in Uttarakhand, the Ankita Bhandari case, even till today, the government has not been able to answer who is the BJP leader who asked for special services from Ankita Bhandari. and she refused to give those services and she was murdered. Who is that leader? The BJP has not yet even said it. The police has not said it. The special investigating team has not said it. Who are they protecting? Then that Kuldeep Singh Sengar, the Delhi High Court commutes his sentence. A rapist and a murderer. He's convicted in both the cases. They are going to release him. It was Edwa that protested all over the country, and then the Supreme Court had to take cognizance of it and they had to overturn the High Court order. This is what actually happened. Human rights activists are inside jail. Omar Khalid, there is no case against him which the police has, but still he's in jail. He's not getting bail. But all these fellows are getting bail. This kind of, they are openly threatening, they are openly lynching minority young boys in the name of cow are being lynched across the nation. Christians are being attacked. The entire Christian community was under great threat during the Christmas celebrations. We all know that, what happened. Chhattisgarh, churches were attacked. This is what is happening in the country. The Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, nothing has happened to him even till today. During 15th August Independence Day, that women should be respected in this country and it should be Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao. And that same government party, the BJP in Gujarat, releases 11 gang rapists and mass murderers of Bilkis Bano on the same day. This is the contradiction, and this is how RSS has always been, speaking with 2 and 3 and 10 mouths. One leader will say one thing, the other leader will do another thing. This is their typical way of doing it. And so that is why, and it was only after protest, even after the press played a big role also in highlighting our protests. And after the protests, those 11 people had to be sent back to jail. But why do we have to protest to put back gang rapists and mass murderers in jail in our country? It should be the normal process of law. But so what does it mean? So Edwa says that women are in a very critical situation because of communal mobilization, this whole Hindu-Muslim politics, all the time trying to pitch one community, one religion against another, changing the character of our nation from a secular nation to an absolutely theocratic, authoritarian nation. So this impacts all citizens. It's not the question of only the women's movement as such. Every single citizen who votes in this country is under threat because laws are being changed. Every child is under threat because her education rights are being denied. Every woman is under threat because she is insecure. And that is why Edwa has always appealed to all citizens that this country belongs to the citizens of this country. And they have to understand that we have a stake in protecting the constitution of this country. They want the Manusmriti to be implemented, and we cannot allow that. There have been such great social reformers in our country, and those social reformers have fought against the caste system, have fought against untouchability, against Dalit oppression. But the BJP RSS wants to bring that back into the country by saying that this is what is nationalism, the Manusmriti, the caste system, the caste exploitation. That is the legacy, that is the tradition of India. We do not agree to that, and we shall fight against that. So our conference slogans are defeat imperialism, because today imperialism is causing havoc in the world, combat Manuvad. These are the 3 slogans under which the Edwa will discuss the issues, and we will mobilize women all over the country for fighting and protecting the Constitution of India and the secular democratic nature of our country.